in the fam. All in the fam. Come on. It's all in the fam. All in the fam. Come on. Now get your hands up. 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 It's all in the fam. All in the fam. Come on. Come on. Come on.
What's up? Welcome to another episode of All in the Fam. It is episode 6, and today we have Morgan Ciocca, who is the digital media producer and editor of the Goods newsletter, and a digital media producer at Vocalo specifically. So welcome to the show, Morgan.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yes,
the applause?
Yes, we got the applause. We got the applause.
Perfect.
All right, there we go. Awesome. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So background for those of you guys watching and listening. So Morgan and I know each other because we were both interns at the same time at Vocalo right before the pandemic. Well, I started before you, and then you started, I think, right after me, or
I started
you like kind of like
in like September
Yeah.
of 2021. Was it 2021 or 2020?
I think it's 2020. Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
2020 because I started 2019. So as I was exiting my last 3 months, you were like starting your first 3 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was a marketing communications intern at Vocalo, and then you were, what exactly was your intern position again?
I was the digital engagement intern.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that was the title.
Yeah,
But,
got you.
yeah.
Yeah. So fun fact, this is actually our first time meeting each other in person.
Yeah.
And not on Zoom meetings during the pandemic. So it's nice to see your face in person.
Yes.
Hey girl.
You as well.
For those who don't know, Bree, can you tell them what Vocalo is?
Sure. So Vocalo is alternative hip hop station 91.1. Yep. One of my favorite stations in Chicago and ever. It was the very first station that I started to listen to that I realized I had a passion for podcasting and media and music, and then also just the Chicago music scene in general. But I'm sure Morgan can explain Vocalo a little bit better since she's behind the scenes completely now.
Yeah, Vocalo is Chicago's only urban alternative station, and we have special emphasis on Chicago and Chicago artists. So a lot of artists that we play or we feature, it's their first time being on a radio station, which is really cool. And we play great music also.
Yes.
Like, not to toot our own horn, but
Yeah, so the reason I started at Vocalo, so I did Lyft and Uber for 2 years in college, and then one of my passengers, he was like, "Can you turn on 91.1?" I was like, "What is that?" He goes, "Just turn it on. You'll love it. It's all alternative hip hop." Also, if you hear the sirens, we're Chicago, so we love Chicago. Anyway, turned on the station and Saba was playing, and I didn't know who Saba was. That was the very first time I heard of Saba, and listened to the radio all the time. I would put all my passengers on Vocalo, and then I saw that they were hiring for internships, so I said, fuck it. I applied, got it, and then the rest was history. But yeah, so let's get into why Morgan is at Vocalo.
Yeah.
yeah. I love, honestly, like Chicago so much. And in college, I had heard so much about the Vocalo internship programs and just Vocalo in general, how great of an experience and a station it was. So naturally, as someone I was studying journalism at the time, I was involved in college radio, and like at the intersection of that, I was like, this internship is just for me. Like, I need to do this. So I applied, and I ended up starting out my internship during the pandemic, and I was fully remote, which was kind of crazy because I didn't meet anyone in person until like the summer when I started full time, which was just kind of a crazy experience, but it's great, and Vocalo is awesome. Yeah.
So could you explain to the fam like what multimedia journalists do? Like what you went to school for at Loyola?
So the journalism program at Loyola just incorporates a lot of different journalistic elements. We have to take there's a video production course you have to take, and I took a course with some audio production. I took a photojournalism course. So kind of just like all the different elements of journalism, because in like present day times, journalism, I feel like has so many more elements than just writing for the page. There's so much more that goes into it, and so much more that can go into it. And what really interested me about like multimedia journalism, especially radio, is hearing people's voices, and like hearing someone themselves tell their story is just so powerful. And it's something that you just can't quite replicate with written word, as close as it gets, but there's nothing like hearing someone's voice. Like,
that's good. Story. You do like your own editing and everything. We just talked about our, editing issues, because if you are a fan member, we have issues every single time. It's always something. But just for the fam, and for me too, I'm kind of interested. A lot of people, when they start in journalism, their first stop is to go right to news media outlets, and not necessarily newspaper, but like ABC7, everybody's fighting for an internship and everything. And I know people that go for that as well. So what made you want to start a career at a music station instead of going straight into news and then potentially going to music?
I've always had a lot of passion for music. I was involved in college radio, which was really great, and I would just listen to some different music stations and music podcasts. And I was always so fascinated about people who knew not just the songs, but also background on the artists that they were talking about. So in my college radio show, which maybe 6 people listened to, I would try to give a little background on all the artists that I was talking about, as well as say this is this album and it's this genre and you should listen to it. It was important to me to kind of give people not necessarily a history lesson, but just more information about the music they were hearing. So at Vocalo, it's really awesome because that's so much of what we do, and so much of what my job is talking to different artists, especially around Chicago, about their background and their story. And that's what got me interested in journalism in the first place, was giving people a voice when they don't necessarily have one. And that's also something that really attracted me to Vocalo. We do so much of that, and it's really important to me to. So I don't know if that necessarily answers your question. I love music journalism, and
it answers it for sure. In a sense, we kind of try to do the same thing too, and just highlight people that we feel need to be highlighted. So it's funny how Vocalo does the same thing, but you're on here because you need to be highlighted for highlighting others. So
yeah, I was thinking about that. We're doing this interview series also. It was kind of on hiatus for a while, but we're really kind of ramping it back up, called This Is What Chicago Sounds Like, or just Chi Sounds Like for short, which I love. Chi Sounds Like. I think it's so important because we highlight not only musicians, because we highlight a lot of musicians kind of in our everyday content, but we will also talk to people involved in the arts world in other ways, or activists, people who work in nonprofits, and just people who are around the city of Chicago doing cool and important things. And I love doing that. But I was listening to your guys' podcast and just thinking this is honestly a similar mission to highlight people around the city.
Yeah, and that was one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to start All in the Fam, was after my internship with Vocalo, because I loved just how the interview style, and then also the content wise on the website. I wanted to be a part of that. So my internship was more so on the WBEZ side, and then I would help out here and there. When Sylvia was working at Vocalo, I would help around here and there with media relations, but I didn't get that experience to be in the booth, in the studio, behind the scenes with the artists. So I was like, well, maybe I can start something. And then Kamari hopped on, and now we have the podcast. So it just worked out full circle. But in your own words, what is Chi Sounds Like to you? So now we get to ask you the question and not you asking the artist.
Oh, what does Chi sound like to me?
Yeah.
I've never been asked that before. That's a great question.
There you go.
I guess, I don't know. I'm so in and around the music scene, and I guess to me, Chicago is a city that really cares about Chicagoans. I feel like no one loves Chicago as much as Chicago does, I think. And there's just so much passion and so much passion in the arts here. And it's really amazing to see and surround myself with. I feel like everyone has their own story. So I guess this might sound kind of like a cheesy answer, but to me, Chi sounds like so many people having an individual voice and their own story. And it sounds like so many different things, but at its core, it's just a lot of passion and love for the city.
I love that.
It's not cheesy at all. I like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So speaking of passion, can you speak about any passion projects that you worked on in college, or if you're doing it right now?
Not necessarily like a passion project that I started myself, but just really getting into interviewing artists has been so fulfilling for me, because in college I took this one course. It was called Feature and Opinion Writings, and that is when I really started to get into feature writing, and that's the type of journalism that I was like, oh, this fits. This is exactly what I want to do, because feature writing is so much of talking to people around the city and just like getting their stories and featuring their stories. So I think just interviewing people at Vocalo has become a passion project, honestly. Because I feel really strongly about all of it. I put a lot of work into everything that I do at Vocalo, and yeah, so I guess it's not a passion project that I started on my own, but it's a passion project that I picked up through my work, and I get to do it as my job, which is amazing.
That's awesome. Do you think Loyola did a really good job of preparing you for this position, this role?
I think so. I had a lot of, because I do a lot of editing of web posts that go up on our site, and it's given me a lot of background, especially in writing, that I look back on some of my handouts that I got as a journalism student to this day, because it's so helpful. And it taught me a lot of self-analysis, and to kind of recognize that your work can always be improved. There's always a way to make it better. And it's not necessarily that your work is flawed in any way, but there's just always room for improvement and always room for self-analysis and editing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So did you ever have, so you went from intern and then straight into full-time as a digital media producer. Did you ever have to like battle imposter syndrome when you first started the role? Because I know if I was going from intern to managing the station, I would be like, wait, what? That's why I kind of asked, like, do you think Loyola like really prepared you?
I feel like Loyola prepared me as much as they could.
Yeah.
Also, my entire senior year of college was online, so that was fun. But yeah, I think just preparing me to take on responsibility and manage projects, Loyola definitely taught me that, because I took school so seriously. I tried really hard. And
I mean, for that price of tuition, I would hope so.
Yeah, right? But yeah, so when I started, first I want to say everyone on the team is so great. I love Team Vocalo so much. Everyone is so welcoming. Even when I went in for an interview, it was like, hey guys, and everyone was like, hey Morgan. Yep. Like,
shout
nice
out to Biko,
yeah,
and Ayana.
Biko, Ayana, Jesse.
Yes.
Love you guys. And Nudia and Ari, who are our newest full-time people. Love you guys also.
Yeah, the new DJ, right? DJ
yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
awesome.
Everyone's awesome. But Biko, Ayana, and Jesse were the full-time people when I was interviewing for my job and when I first started full-time. But yeah, there was definitely imposter syndrome. Like, I started this role at 22 years old, and I just, like, everyone was so supportive and everyone really believed in me. Mm-hmm. Of course, at the beginning, I was still kind of having imposter syndrome. I'm like, I don't know, like, what to do sometimes, even though I feel like I did know, but just, I got a little stressed about like being responsible for so much.
I feel like you are at an advantage because Vocalo is such a small team. It's not like you work for Spotify or Apple Music or MTV. Like, it's a really, really small studio. So I feel like having that familial vibe and just the come in as you are, it's okay to mess up. Like, I'm sure Ayana and Biko, they have years of experience.
Yeah.
They pretty much taught you the ropes, same with Jesse too. So I feel like it being small is to your advantage. Because if you were like 22 and you worked for Spotify or Apple Music or MTV, it would have been more
so
cutthroat.
stressful. So stressful.
Yeah, more cutthroat.
Anxiety.
But
every
literally,
day.
It's so great though, and everyone's very supportive.
What advice would you give to some students who are like maybe in the same or going down the same path that you went through in terms of imposter syndrome and starting as an intern and maybe taking on a bigger role? What advice would you give to them?
I think just to have people on your team that you can talk to and who you know you can trust and who believe in you. I think it's really important to have a supportive team. And also again, this sounds kind of like cheesy, like motivational poster, but like really believing in yourself is so important in these kinds of roles, and like knowing that the work you're doing is important and you're doing a good job regardless of if you feel like you're doing enough. I feel like, because usually if you're in the position where you're stressed about, am I doing enough? You probably are. I feel like most of the time people are harder on themselves than they give themselves credit for.
Yeah. And I've seen that with stuff that we worked on too, because we'll be like, it'll be like last minute, we'll be like, let's just hurry up and finish this, blah, blah, blah. And somebody will be like, that was my favorite episode. I'm like, I thought it was trash because the way we had to like quickly get it done. But I feel like it's the stuff that you're not like so highly focused on is when you get like the best out of it. So for sure, like, I appreciate that too, because we needed to hear that too.
Yeah. I mean, even with us, Kamari, how far we've come.
Yeah.
Because we went from Zoom recordings to this, and even though I said to you, this is no Vocalo setup, but literally all of our guests were like, we love your setup. And so
this is a great setup.
Right. Yeah. It's good. It's
We're
good.
working on it.
We're working on it. We're working on it. But what we had before, this is good.
Zoom all the way up into here. I believe we were in a kitchen last season.
Literally a dining room.
We were working our way up, but I mean, hey, had to work with what we had.
2024 studio.
Yeah, we're working on it, manifesting.
Yeah. Okay, so how does Vocalo differ from B96? What are the other ones? Hot 90?
Power 92.
Power 92.
WGCI. Like, well, those are kind of like.
Those are hip hop.
No, those are hip hop too, yeah. What's the new one? 104.3?
There's a new one?
Yeah, it plays like all the old like school throwbacks and stuff, and it's strictly for that.
Yeah.
I believe that's it, like 106.3. That's like for the older generation. Yeah. Like I still love that channel, so don't come for us, y'all.
Because in my words, I can describe how Vocalo is different, but from you and from the inside, how would you describe?
I would say first and foremost our emphasis on highlighting lesser known and especially Chicago artists, because that's something we do literally every month. It's really great. And like I was saying before, we're the first station to play a lot of artists, which I think is so crucial, especially to the community, with these artists who are really just putting themselves out there and trying to get their voices heard. Because it's good music, regardless of if it's popular or not. But every month we have our in rotation playlist, which is also, it gets added to our on-air rotation for the month. And then we have the Poised to Break Through playlist, which is just a Spotify playlist, but those are artists that we think are like poised to break through the noise and make it big, and names that you'll probably be hearing, but so those are our two playlists. But I think the primary way it differs is just like the emphasis on community. And also, I think we play, like, we don't necessarily play music that's like popular.
You don't play the same 10 songs every day.
We put a lot of work in the variety of music that goes on our airwaves, and it's a pretty specific sound, like the Vocalo sound. Tune in and you can check it out. But shout out to Ayana Contreras, who sets up our playlists, and she does an amazing job. And then
it's
of course
literally
our DJs.
A talent to curate playlists.
She is so talented at it. And of course Biko and Nudia, who are on air, giving us the personalities that everyone loves.
Yes.
And can't forget the 5 o'clock mix DJs. Everyone who's on air at Vocalo.
So I have a question. How do you all find the artists?
They submit music to us usually. Okay. We have an online submissions form. If anyone's listening and wants to submit music, it is, if you go to vocalo.org, there's a submit music tab. It'll open up a Smart Sheets form, and you can submit your music there with a little bio, which, definitely write about yourself in the bio if you have an interesting story. That's important.
One of our guests was on there.
Really?
Yeah, so Snowy Joey. I'm not sure if you heard of him. Yeah, so he'll be on the season later as like an artist sessions video segment, not as a podcast guest, but he was featured on Vocalo, and I remember seeing him. I was like, no way! Yeah. Like I interned for them, and da-da-da-da-da. So it's just really cool seeing people that you know can get to the station, and you guys do a really, really good job, like you said, of highlighting those lesser known artists and getting into the community. It's not like B96 where you have the top 10 songs in rotation every single day, and you don't really know the artist because they're so in the red. They're so famous that they're kind of untouchable. So
we'll still play popular artists, but just not 24/7.
Right.
Good. Is there anything that you look for in terms of like requirements for these artists that have to submit those forms in? Do you like check their they could have a website, social media, like do those things come into play when you pick who you all are going to feature?
I wouldn't say social media following really factors into who we decide on. A lot of the time,
that's really
it's
good
if
to
their
know.
music is a good fit for our station. That's the main thing we look for, is if the music's a good fit. And also if they have a story that we think we want to help highlight and tell on our station or on our website. But yeah, I would say the first thing we look for is if the music's a good fit for Vocalo.
Those of you listening, go ahead and submit that form.
Yeah, seriously, please.
Especially the artists that we had on as actual podcast guests. I feel like a lot of their music, matches Vocalo's vibe. So we'll definitely tell them to reach out to.
Yeah.
But so give us the behind the scenes of a day-to-day of what being a digital media producer takes.
So when I go into the office, which I love going into the office, working from home is nice because I don't have to commute, but I just can't focus as well at home. So being in the workspace is so great. It's so awesome.
The office is on Navy Pier.
Yeah.
With north side views. This is beautiful.
It's so beautiful. Right by the lake. But yeah, so I go in, get my coffee. And usually I'll sit down, look through my emails that I've gotten from like the night before. The info@Vocalo emails, I'll usually go through those and see if anyone emailed us, usually about like submitting music, where they should submit music, what music we were playing on air, which there's also on our website, we have all of the songs listed for 24 hours that we've played on air. So if you're ever curious about what played and you can't find it right away, it is online.
I love that you all do that, because I swear when you pull out that Shazam and it don't come out fast enough, I'll be like, damn.
Especially when they're not as known and Shazam won't pick it up.
Some songs too aren't Shazamable.
No.
Yeah, we brag about that. But some won't show up on Shazam because they're like just recording it that an artist sent us. They're not really on streaming platforms. So
I mean, that's
we
good
do
for
have some
y'all's
exclusives.
Yeah, that's good for y'all's SEO to it, that to let them know that you can't Shazam it, so you have to go to Vocalo.com.
Yeah,
right there.
exactly.
Get that website traffic.
Yeah, you have to check it out. But yeah, so I go in, check the emails. I usually will log our social media followers just to keep track of that. And then I'll help get the content out. We usually try to have at least one piece of content out on our website every day, which we have a small staff, so one is always doable, sometimes more than one. But usually it'll be an artist interview or a Shy Sounds Like podcast episode, or a combination. Sometimes album write-ups. We just had an event at the Subterranean, which was awesome, but we posted a recap about that with photos and
amazing lineup too.
It was such a great lineup.
I really wanted to go and see Brittany Carter.
She was so
blew
good
up over the summer
like
last year.
So good.
Yeah.
It was Olive Blue, Brittany Carter, Asar, and Wemi Mo, and they were all amazing, like amazing live. I had never seen any of them live before, so it was great to see artists that I've been like emailing with or like writing up posts about for
Was
so
that the
long.
first live event in 2 years?
That was the second. We
Okay.
had a different showcase. We called them the Shy Sounds Like showcases. We had a different one with Rich Robbins and some of the Vocalo DJs. And that was awesome too.
Yeah.
But that was in, I want to say, October.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, Rich Robbins, he's up there on the Chicago list of artists.
For sure.
Definitely up there. He had a really great song. I forgot the name of the song, but it was during 2020 with all BLM and the riots, and it was a very, very emotional song. And I feel like that song really sparked his trajectory. Mm-hmm. So now I see him everywhere in Chicago. So definitely be on the lookout for his name. So you're full-time now at Vocalo. What are some of the different perks and nuances that you have to deal with now that you're full-time?
It's really great being full-time. Now I kind of have more like free reign of the social media accounts, which like posting things on the story, posting things on our Instagram feed, and working with the marketing team for like different social posts and pushes, especially like ads for the goods. Honestly, my favorite thing one of my favorite things, it's kind of all my favorite, I love my job, but I love writing the goods, the newsletter. It is so great because it's just an excuse to look up things going on in Chicago and then getting to like plug our playlists and different interviews that we've done and look up volunteer opportunities around the city. So it just helps me like kind of stay more in tune with what's going on. And yeah, honestly, so much of it is really great. I think getting to go into the office and getting to like stay there and talk to people and form closer relationships with the rest of Chicago Public Media as well as Team Vocalo is really awesome. And there's nothing like being with your team in person. Like it's just, but I feel like those are kind of the main things that come to mind.
That's great.
So with like creating content, there's like many mainstreams of like receiving content. There's like YouTube, there's radio, there's Apple Music, Spotify. A lot of people are kind of like, if they're not in their car, they're steering away from radio and they're more streaming it on Apple Music or Spotify. How do you help Vocalo stand out and, you know, go to the masses?
Be relevant.
Yeah.
As a radio station.
We post all of our interviews on Spotify. And we post some of them on YouTube. Like Biko usually will record his interviews on Zoom, or if they're in person, he'll take a video of them, but we'll post those to YouTube. We're posting the videos we just did a showcase at South by Southwest, or we hosted 4 artists on the Radio Day stage at South by Southwest. I think it was on like March 19th. 2 Chicago artists, Asar and Kaina, and
I love Kaina.
So good.
She's amazing.
I just saw her show at Metro.
Really?
That was amazing. Like she is so great live.
Man.
But
I remember when I was an intern, she was just up and coming. Like she just had a song on a playlist and now she's headlining at the Metro. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Going to South by Southwest. She just had that really cool Tiny Desk concert too.
Yes, I saw that.
It was awesome. Yeah. But yeah. And the other 2 artists were Dende and Papia Judah. So Papia Judah just released she's from the UK for people who don't know, and her music's really great. You might know, I think one of her bigger songs was she did a reimagining of Herbie Hancock's Watermelon Man for Blue Note Records, and she added lyrics to the song, which used to be instrumental. She did that in like either 2020 or 2021, I might be mistaken. But she did that a little while ago, and her debut full-length album came out, is yesterday Friday? Yeah, it came out yesterday, which was April 22nd. And so we posted some of her recordings from South by Southwest on YouTube. So we're trying to like be on all the platforms we can, post things on socials to, you know, keep people in the know about what's going on Vocalo. And also just trying to redirect people back to our stream, whether it's the web stream or the actual radio station. Because we have the Vocalo app and we have a web player. So if you ever can't reach the frequency or if you're out of state, you can always listen online or on the app, which the app is just, I think, called Vocalo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Were you actually at South by Southwest?
No,
okay.
I was not.
Gotcha.
Ayana was the only one who was there on our team.
Cool. And then you guys did Lollapalooza last year, right?
Yes.
Are you guys going to do it again this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we should be there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea? Are you guys going to like actually interview many of the headliners, or is it going to be like more of the local artists?
We try to emphasize the local artists, probably not the headliners, because, well, first of all, the headliners a lot of the time don't even like to do interviews, but
That's true.
I'm excited. I think it'll be fun. It was really fun last year, except for when we almost got trampled by people jumping the fence.
Oh, no.
But
Lord.
it was the day of Tyler, the Creator, and it was like pretty close to his set.
Yeah.
And so we just say we almost got trampled by Tyler, the Creator fans. No shade to Tyler. Love his music, love him. But
no, his fans are crazy.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
But people were jumping the fence, and like it was the like that bridge by the metro station at Grant Park. Mm-hmm. And there was someone who left the metro station, was just trying to go home and almost got trampled with us. And but we were fine. I could laugh about it because, like, it ended up being fine.
Damn kids.
But yeah, Lollapalooza was great last year, and we're looking forward to it again this year. I think it'll be a good time.
Okay.
And
how was it last year with, like COVID and everything? Because everybody was worried about that and catching it, but it was obviously a lot of people there.
There were so many people there.
They said, what is COVID?
They were like, fuck that, we're going outside.
It was honestly kind of stressful. That was the most people I've been around in a very long time. Mm-hmm. We were in the press area, like it's like the media village, or I think that's what it's called. Which is just a bunch of tents for different media outlets. So we got to hang back there most of the time, kind of away from all the people. I was running around taking some photos of like people in the crowd or walking around. I got some photos of Toby Lou's set when he was performing, but I honestly wasn't at a lot of the performances just because there were so many people and I was kind of worried about COVID. Yeah. But yeah, there were a lot of people there.
Okay. Do you guys get breaks to go actually see the performances? Like, will you partake in that this year? If you get the chance to?
Probably. Like, I'll probably run around and try to catch some people. I will most likely be taking some photos again, so I'm hoping to get a little closer for some of the photos this time.
Who would you like to shoot?
I'm honestly, I don't know. I know there's so many people going. I'd really shoot anyone that I could. But yeah, anyone that we decide to interview, which we haven't decided on our interview and like content schedule for Lollapalooza yet, just because it's a couple months out. But yeah.
Okay. Cool. Top 5 artists that you got to either meet, interview, or email. Because I know some artists are hard to reach, and it would just be an email. So tell us your top 5.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to say Chicago people.
Okay.
But, I feel like I haven't personally interviewed some of these people, but I've interacted with them and, like, we've done interviews with them. Mm-hmm. But, like we were saying before, Kaina, like, love her. Like, love her music so much. I think she is amazing and just seems like such a nice person. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, really excited for her. And this newer album, I think it came out in March. But her newest album is really, really great. So definitely listen to that if you haven't already. I'm trying to think of other people. Asar, too. Awesome. Like, we just had him at the Shy Sounds Like showcase. Mm-hmm. He was just so good live. Like, oh my gosh. Star quality. Like, yeah. That's awesome. He's really great. Mother Nature, I love them so much. They're such nice people. Mm-hmm. Also, like, I featured them in like a piece that I did a little while ago about some Chicago artists, and yeah, they're so cool. Biko interviewed them a little while ago, and I've emailed back and forth with them about different content ideas. So
at least you got them to respond. So one of our connections knows the manager of Mother Nature, and we wanted the manager to be on the season, but we didn't get no response. But I mean, I'm happy for y'all. So maybe now that you on this podcast, maybe they think we're legit now.
We're next.
They're so busy. I feel like they have so much going on, which, like, oh my God, they're so awesome. Trying to think. It's hard to narrow it down. Like, everyone is really great. Yeah. I feel like there's obvious people that I'm going to forget also. So this is just a 5 that stand out to me who I really like. Also, I think Stranded Civilians are really great. They're so cool. Local guys.
They were on our podcast last week.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Literally. Literally.
But their music's awesome. They were just they were added to our rotation like either last month or the month before. Sometime this year we've added them to rotation. And yeah, they're really cool. And it's so hard to narrow down. I'm trying to think.
Morgan's gonna go home and be like, shit.
Yeah,
I'm just so glad you named one of our guests.
That's awesome.
So
we're doing circle. Something correct.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
But trying to think of other people who are specifically located here. And
anybody else from Super Records?
Oh my gosh, they're all so cool.
Because there's so many.
I haven't interviewed many of them, but like we have they're so like intertwined with Vocalo people.
Yeah.
Like Sen Morimoto, so cool. Namdi, so cool. Like, yeah, there's so many great artists in the city. And yeah, of course, Brittany Carter too.
Yes.
And like, yeah, I feel like I'm just naming so many people who went to our showcases, but like, and Olive Blue Live, like she is so good. And I don't know if you guys might have seen her on The Voice in like 2019, I want to say. And yeah, she was so talented. She's just so talented. She opened up our showcase with her cover of On and On by Erykah Badu. And that was her audition for The Voice also. And so amazing. Like, her voice is so amazing live.
People sleep on Chicago artists, man. I mean, they know all the greats. They had No, Common, and Kanye, and Lil Bae, and Vic, and Chance. But all these local ones that are still, as one of our guests last season would say, in the green, that are still reachable and you can connect with them locally, people sleep on them. And gotta listen to Vocalo.
Yeah, seriously.
Cool.
So let's get into the personnel. So what is the most difficult problem that you had to solve as a digital media radio producer?
That's a great question. I feel like just sometimes there's people who get upset with us for things that we publish, and it's like kind of responding to them in a way that treats them with kindness, but is like standing up for the things that we've published. Like if it's because we strive toward fact-based reporting when it's something that's not necessarily like a profile. So if we're publishing the facts, we're not going to delete the facts just because someone isn't super happy with it. So yeah, it happened one time where someone wasn't, I won't say specifically which post it was, but someone wasn't happy with something we published because it painted them in a bad light, even though it was specific things that had happened in real life. And so we published a follow-up with like a statement from them, but it like just was still being factual in our reporting.
Yeah.
So I think just kind of acknowledging that we are sticking to the facts is always important in those scenarios.
You can be upset with stuff that you did.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like that's so hard, especially in journalism. But at least you're not with CNN or Fox. Like, that's a whole different...
or anything. It's more uplifting the community and showing, different talents off. So, I mean, if they know, like, you all's background and what you're doing, I don't think they should have took offense to that. That's not you all's character or what it's.
But also, we don't know who it was. We don't know the whole story too. So, but I mean, if they get mad at facts,
So, how would you handle if your team resisted like an idea that you wanted to introduce? You all are creating content and different things that we could apply to, get more people to look at Vocalo and shine a light on more artists. How would you feel if they weren't on board for what you had to do, or has that happened before?
That hasn't happened, but I know, or it hasn't like happened necessarily in like those terms, but I know our team is so constructive that it would never be like absolutely not. It would be like maybe we should do it in this type of way instead of that. Like, let's work something out that would work instead of just a straight up, no, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, so like building on it, making it better.
Yeah, like building off of ideas and working constructively with one another. That's one of the great things about having a small team too.
Yeah.
Is we can bounce ideas off each other.
So you all just come in a room and it's like, okay, here's like a board full of content, like what should we do for this year?
No, it's more like just when things kind of arise, that's what we work on. We do have like specific goals. Like one of our goals this year was to get Shy Sounds like kind of back on its feet and running. And that's what we've been starting to like really get into. But yeah, we just kind of come up with content ideas as time goes on. Because again, there's like so few of us that we just have to figure out the main things that we want to prioritize. And yeah, it's a lot of talking with each other about like, hey, would you want to do this interview? Or like, are you interested in doing this? And working those out together.
Well, this season, if we should have already had it because this is episode 6, we're having artist sessions. So if you want to drop by and, meet some new artists and talk to them and see if that would be, people that you would want to bring on the show, that would be cool too.
Yeah, I would love to.
True. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
Okay, that's why she's
artists.
a content.
We're looking out for you.
But yeah, I'm always looking for new music, new artists to talk to, and yeah, again, if you're a Chicago artist, submit your music to Vocalo.
Submit it in, y'all. We're trying to get y'all put up.
So what do you envision like future content for the station? One of my questions is, are you guys going to tap into more video content in the future, along with the radio content too?
I hope to kind of have some more video interviews, but I think we're prioritizing the audio because again, we're a radio station.
Yeah.
And like prioritizing getting some more audio interviews on the books. Having a visual component with it as well would be awesome. But sometimes it like doesn't always look the best, or like we can't get a good video quality with the person for one reason or another. So I think definitely prioritizing getting more audio interviews booked, hopefully more on-air interviews when we can have guests back in the studio.
Gotcha.
But I would love to have guests in the studio to do more interviews. That would be awesome.
Okay.
We have Fast and Furious today. We almost died trying to get here, and now we got, biker boys going down the street.
Right. Again, Chicago.
Right.
Will there be a winter block party next year?
Winter?
I hope.
Winter block party.
We'll have to see. We don't have one planned specifically.
Okay.
We are planning some more events, hopefully for this summer though, so keep your eyes out for that. But I would love to have the winter block party again. That would be awesome.
The winter block party was awesome. It was the very last event before shutdown happened.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, the winter block party is basically kind of like the Shy Sounds Like Showcase a little bit, where you have people from the community, different vendors, and then you have different performers and dancers, and there's a whole bunch of, think of your outdoor block party, but inside at the Metro.
Yeah.
So yeah, literally that. So love the winter block party.
Yeah, I hope that happens again.
Yes.
But fingers crossed it works out.
Yes, I like colder events. I don't like going out when it's hot outside.
Yeah, it's literally 72 degrees outside, and I'm burning in the sweater. So.
Yeah, this past summer at Lollapalooza, I was just dying. It was so hot. They had sparkling water back there. I was just chugging sparkling water. So
couldn't be me. At least it was water, not the other stuff.
Right.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you still pick yourself at Vocalo?
I definitely picture myself in Chicago. I would love to keep working with the community, and working with artists at Vocalo would be amazing. If I could continue working in the media field, that'd be awesome. But yeah, definitely Chicago. I will probably never move.
Okay.
That'd be fun for Morgan to do some stuff for All in the Fam too.
True.
You never know.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get into what should be everybody's favorite segment of the show now that we've added, and that's our top five. So we know we added, who are your top five artists to either interview or be in connection with, but here we've created different little categories for you to choose from. And you just tell your top five. Don't think too much on it. Just go straight off the dome.
Okay.
But whatever you pick from there.
Top 5 music videos. Oh my gosh. This is hard. Okay.
That's a good one.
Right off the bat, I have to decide which Amber Mark video to choose because her videos are amazing. I was watching them as they were coming out for 3 Dimensions Deep. That era of music videos, so good. The Foreign Things music video. It's between Foreign Things and Competition. But I'll probably have to say Foreign Things, Amber Mark, because it's if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. But it's people in these beautiful outfits in an Italian villa, having a dinner party and dancing.
I feel like we're coming back to your roots.
Yeah. But I'm I want to be there. It's
Morgan
so
is Italian for people who
Oh yes, I am.
We keep it all in the fam here. We meant that.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
That's one.
I feel like we should put
see.
screenshots of these videos.
Yeah, we can do that.
I'm just gonna. These are probably all gonna be ones that I've watched recently, but Kaina's music video for Apple I thought was so cool. Or wait, she has 2 music videos that I love. Also, that I'm gonna go with her other music video actually for Anybody Can Be in Love, which honestly kind of reminds me of Mr. Rogers or something happy. It's very nostalgic and pretty and yeah, it's just really cute and feels like very happy. Makes you want to live inside of it.
Cool.
Oh my gosh, I'm struggling.
That's 2.
My brain's not working. I feel like I'm gonna have to throw it back to like, this is not anything Vocalo would play, but this was a music video that I really loved in like high school. Mm-hmm. I still remember it to this day. But it's the band, it's like an indie band, the Jungle Giants. And they have this one music video for their song, She's a Riot. And it's really cute. It's just like this the group of friends hanging out for someone's birthday party.
Oh.
And it's really fun.
Okay.
And then, does this count? It's like the short film for Saba's album.
Absolutely.
Like,
Short
so
films count.
it's so good. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh my God.
You got
I
one
think
more.
one more. Yeah.
I have one more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to
good.
think. I know I've written about music videos, but oh my God, I'm struggling. Give me a second so I can think. Because I've definitely written about music videos that have come out. I'll say another like Chicago ish artist, Alex Bannon. I think that's how you say her last name. She doesn't live here anymore. I'm pretty sure she moved to LA, but she had this one music video where I'm forgetting the name, but she was like fencing in it. And yeah, I thought that one was really cool too.
Okay.
But she was wearing like a sparkly like fencing mask, and yeah, hang on,
I'm
I can look it up.
I'm gonna have to look all of these up. Here, I can look it up right here. What was it called?
These videos either.
Alex Bannon and Banin. And
Her.
yes,
And then what was the music video?
it's the Hawthorne.
Hawthorne.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll
I
drop a
thought
screenshot.
that music video was so cool.
Oh wow, it's pretty. Okay. Cool. Cool. Awesome. So to wrap up, where can the fam find Vocalo online and on the socials?
So we're at Vocalo on, I think, everything: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify. I think we're Vocalo Radio on YouTube. We're Vocalo Radio on Spotify as well. But yeah, follow us on everything. Subscribe to the Goods newsletter, which the subscribe link is also on vocalo.org. Tune in to 91.1 if you're in Chicago. If you're not in Chicago, you can download our app on the App Store, and I think it's on Google Play also. And then you can stream us on our web player.
Sounds good. Cool. Well, Morgan, thank you so much for being on, and hopefully we can partner up either with you or Vocalo in the future. Best of luck to all your endeavors and all that you do. And yeah, so the fam, make sure you guys, if you guys are going to Lollapalooza, go to the Vocalo booth.
Yep.
Hit up Morgan.
Yep.
Tell her hello and all of that.
Give her some water.
Yes, definitely give her some water.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be dehydrated. It's July in Chicago.
But it's been real. So that has been another episode of All the Fam. It's your girl Brianna.
And your girl Kamari.
See ya.
Bye-bye.